my headlights on, only one of the running lights is working, so this might be why you are here today. One way you can test if this might be your problem is by jiggling this switch a little bit and coming back and checking. Yep, that did it. So that side is working now. So if you're having intermittent problems, this is most likely your problem. So today we're going to be installing our headlight switch. Now I picked up an OEM one and this is what it looks like. They are red. And I'm going to put a link down below in the description for this. And also there's another non-OEM brand that is a lot cheaper than this one that some people have claimed to have luck with. So I'll link that as well. Here is the complete set of tools you will need for this very simple project. First is our headlight switch that you're going to be installing. You'll need a small pry tool. You'll need a small flathead screwdriver, some sort of hole punch, a T20, and a 24 millimeter socket or a pair of pliers will work if you do not have that. Now this switch actually sits back in behind here, so the first thing we're going to do is remove this knob. So you may not even know this, but this switch actually pulls out so that you can turn it for, I think, fog lights and stuff, but actually never even used it. But if you look under it, you can see that there is a little hole, and we're going to press that to release this. So I just have one of these, a little hole punch that's blunt on the end. I'll put a link to this from Amazon below too, in case you need this. But any tool will do, even like a really small flathead screwdriver should do the job. After pulling this knob out, you're just going to stick the tool back under here and it will release it. So let me show you what that just did. There's a little metal piece here. When you press it, it releases that. And that was hooked to right around here. And as you can see by looking at our replacement, this is what we're looking at. You can see that there's a nut right around these threads holding it into place. Okay, our next step is that there are two T20 screws, one here and one here. We're going to remove those two. One. And here's number two. Okay, now if we look back at the switch, you can see that hole on the right-hand side. So there's one more that is in there. So just also take our T25, stick it in at an angle, and you will feel it loosening. Okay, we got him out. So if we come back to our new switch for a minute, you can see all of these connections are pressed into that wiring harness, and it is just a friction connection. So I'm just going to take this plastic pry tool and pry them apart. And just work it. You can see it's starting to separate. Come over to the other side of it. Find a little gap and work the tool there. Back to this side. And it'll pretty easily start coming apart for you. And you can just use your hand and pull it off. And then there is one more little connector on here. So you can see this connector has a tiny little indentation right there. You can press that in to separate them. Okay, we can just slip a really small flathead screwdriver under the lip here. So be careful that you don't snap any of this plastic. And it will slide out. Okay, now we can come bring it over to the workbench, put it on its side, and this cable here is actually attached to this ring. So If we gently pull our ring out and at the same time feed this cable through the hole on the side here, this will all come out and we can see some of the circuitry behind here. So we just want to remember that it went in this way. I guess there's only one way for it to go in, and there are these 3 tabs around here that fit into 3 tabs in here. Okay, so now you can see how we just rotate our switch to line these up, and then they come out of the hole. So here's our old one. It's pretty dirty. Oh wow. When you shake it, you can hear little bits in there. I was going to say you could probably get away with cleaning it and trying it again, but I'm going to pass on this one. Okay, new switch, and our notch here in the knob was pointing away from the vents. So we're going to put it back in the same way. Press it in and twist it back. Okay, feed the cable back through the hole. And we will press it in the only way that it fits to line those up in the grooves. Take our nut, put it back on here, and tighten, and then just a little bit more with this. Just doesn't have to be tight. It's not going anywhere. You can see the switch right up here has a little notch that is going to go into that groove. So it'll only let you put this on one way and snap it in, and it'll stay there now. Okay, mine used to move over all the way to the left or all the way over to the right just by clicking it like this. But the way it is supposed to work is that once it is on the, to get it to the left, to get it to the back, you have to lift it. You have to pull it out and then turn it, drop it back down, and you have these positions, and it does not go to the left unless you pull it out and twist it. So now mine is working how it should. Installation, of course, is just the opposite of removal. First, we can connect our small wire, and then we can plug this back in here, and you can see that there is a pattern in the middle that matches the pattern in the middle on the switch. So there's only one way that this can plug in. It is over here. And just press it in there. Tuck your wires back in a little. All right, line everything up. Kind of start with your switch. Put that in there. And then, oops, don't break it. Push it all back in. Snap it in place. There was one snap on the bottom, one snap on the top. And, oh, okay. So, silly me, of course, don't put this in yet until you still need to put that other screw in. You can remove that again because we have to get our screw in here. And then, of course, don't forget these two screws that we have to go back in the side here and down here. And now finally we can stick our knob back on. And so if your knob does not stick back on and it keeps coming off, your metal indent in there is not releasing, so back on it a couple times. we go. Now it's releasing and we can turn our fogs. And we are all set. So now let's test it out. So we will turn our headlights on and come back here, cross our fingers, bam, bam. Okay, everything is working once more. All right, that's it for another episode of Help Me DIY. If you have any questions, please put them below in the comments, or if you have any other helpful suggestions for others, put them there as well. If you found this video helpful, please like it, or if you just want to bookmark it for later because you know you're going to have to do this project, like it and it'll show up in your liked videos.